Hello. The lighting's not that great, is it? Let's see. It's a little better if I move it this way, I guess, huh? Hey, Leslie. Okay. Just trying to figure out the lighting situation. I didn't want to go outside because it's too hot. Say hi to me as you're hopping on. Hey, Anya. Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Danielle. How is everyone going today? My hair is quite liony today, isn't it? That Lyran energy coming through in my hairdo today. We should get the team here at least. It is Friday, isn't it? Is it Friday? Is it Friday here? Oh yeah, it's Friday here. I'm like, is it Friday here? What day is it? Yes, it is Friday. I'm glad it's Friday too, I guess. Like, I guess I don't really do Friday. Like, I work on Saturdays. So, Saturday's kind of like my Friday, I guess. Taking this awesome new thyroid supplement. Thanks, Jamie. Is it a Leo moon coming up? I feel like I'm not in the know right now. I feel like I don't know things. This is my thyroid medicine. Okay, so I had an amazing phone conversation this morning with Calvin Witcher, who's next level. And if you're not following him, you definitely should. That's probably why my hair is doing this then. It doesn't normally do this, so it's preparing itself for the Leo moon, for shizzle. Had a really good conversation with Calvin Witcher, and it's like, I'm definitely going to be joining his membership group, New Mind. Like, what I look for in a mentor is somebody who activates and inspires me. Like just being in their energy, or like when they say things, it's not necessarily the things that they say, but it's the activation that happens inside of me from listening to what they say. And it was really interesting because in the call, like, he was saying some things to me and I was writing down some notes because it was activating stuff in me. And one of the things that when I got off the call, I thought was that I feel like I have a real responsibility to continue to dispel the mindset your way to wealth illusion. When it comes to shifting your wealth paradigm, mindset work is important. It is an amazing, amazing foundation. But mindset work alone does not shift your wealth paradigm. Money mindset work does not change your trajectory. And, you know, The Secret was an amazing book for a lot of reasons, right? And there are some really, really good principles in there. And it's not everything. And people that just go all in on, they can Abraham Hicks or Secret, and I'm just using these as examples because they're the ones that come up most frequently, right? They can Abraham Hicks or Secret their way to financial freedom and wealth and abundance. It just doesn't work. And it's like, I know that it's my job to dispel that myth. There are so many coaches out there with money programs, with money mindset programs, with, you know, abundance challenges, with money, you know, all kinds of different money programs that are designed to get you to shift your paradigm. And while there's nothing wrong with those programs, it's one piece in a giant puzzle. And I think it's really important to know that. For me, I really, really desire people to be able to excavate the shit that got them to the negative mindset in the first place. You know, mindset work and affirmations and that kind of think your way to abundance mentality, it changes the symptom, right? So the symptom, it may cure the symptom goes away. The root of the problem is still there, and it's only a matter of time before it festers again. It's why you see people have some success with mindset work and then they end up coming back down, or some success in business and then they end up coming back down, and they're in these constant waves, and they're not just sort of like the normal ebbs and flows of life. It's like this roller coaster ride of success, failure, or, you know, doing really, really well and then not. And the truth of the other part of it is that, you know, mindset work works and you begin to see a shift because you shift your vibration and your frequency, right? Temporarily. So you temporarily shift your vibration, you temporarily shift your frequency, and you have a result because of that. But it's impossible to maintain, because long term, like, you're not going to, like, saying the same affirmations long term is not going to continue to risk to lift your vibration and your frequency to that place. Just thinking yourself rich, or thinking yourself abundant, or thinking yourself prosperous, you are, yes, of course you're going to have an increase in income. Of course you're going to have an increase in abundance when you shift your energetic vibration and frequency from down here to up here. But you cannot maintain that frequency with that same work if ultimately you haven't handled the root frequency. And that's the difference between money mindset or affirmation type programs and work and what I do. Because for me, it's about not just masking the symptom or not just curing the symptom. It's about curing the underlying cause of why the symptom happened in the first place. Why why all of a sudden we started vibrating down here at these lower frequencies. Why the struggle with money. And in order to understand that, you have to understand the whole picture. You have to understand, one, that we're designed, like we are literally programmed to be in a state of lack and scarcity mentality. That is us being in lack and scarcity perpetuates the global financial agenda. And so you have to look at that programming. You have to literally excavate the programming. You have to excavate the root cause of what makes us vibrate at this frequency. It's like in some of the emotional clearing work I do, we work on the scale of consciousness. So you can raise your scale of consciousness through doing clearing and finding out what's in the way of you being at that level of consciousness. So it's like I can sit here and go through an emotions chart, and I can raise my frequency to 100 on the scale of consciousness to the level of enlightenment by doing a few clears. I definitely can get my frequency up there. But ultimately, it's going to come back down and rest wherever it's resting. And it's resting there because at my root, at my base, my foundation, I'm vibrating at a certain frequency. So in order to maintain higher vibrational frequency, we have to raise the whole frequency. We have to raise the whole vibration. We have to raise the root frequency and the base frequency. Because it's easy to go up and down on that scale through identifying what emotions are affecting us right now in the moment. Certainly we can clear those out. Certainly we can, we can go meditate and we can raise our frequency. Certainly we can do a Joe Dispenza meditation and raise our frequency. But it isn't until we really begin to get to the root of, okay, what is actually my base level frequency that I'm vibrating at right now, and what's causing me to be at that frequency? What's causing me at the base level to be vibrating, down in the 200s or in the 300s? So really, I'm not getting above 300. I'm not getting above 400. Like I can't exist in those upper vibrational frequencies because I've got shit at my core and at my root that is making me vibrate to a lower energetic vibration or frequency. So how do we do that? Well, we have to excavate it. We have to get to the root of what happened. Well, what causes that stuff, right? We come here with a lot of it. So a lot of it we carry through our ancestral DNA. So our ancestors are carrying programming, financial slavery, consciousness programming. Many of our ancestors are carrying slavery, like actual slavery, being bought and sold as currency programming. So we have worthiness and deserving issues there. Others of our ancestors immigrated as indentured servants. So there's worthiness and deserving issues there. So we have this whole ancestral DNA piece that we're carrying, and we have generational stuff that's coming down, we've scientifically proven that we carry 7 generations of ancestral information and data in our DNA. I think it's much, much greater than that, but that's what we've proven to this point. So at least you're carrying 7 generations of data in your DNA from both your maternal and your paternal side. And if that's the case, think of all the programming and conditioning and trauma you're carrying just in your DNA. So you're literally having emotional responses to things that are happening right now in this timeline, in this lifetime, that are just part of your genetic and DNA makeup that actually don't have anything to do with this timeline and this lifetime right here in this moment, in this version of the infinite now, right? So that's one thing. And then we have to also address what has happened in your life from the time you took your first breath on this planet. So how have you been programmed? How have you been conditioned to perceive money, wealth, and currency? And it isn't until we actually are able to clear that stuff out of our both psyche and our body so many of us, the majority of us, have experienced money trauma. So, and it's a trauma that we kind of poo-poo and that we make very secondary, because especially when there are so many beings on this planet that have experienced, physical abuse or sexual abuse, like we put money or financial trauma, it's like almost as if it doesn't exist or it isn't important, right? We feel like it's not as important as these other two things. But the truth is that money and financial trauma can be just as debilitating as sexual and physical abuse and trauma. And it's a little bit more dangerous in some ways because we do poo-poo it and we're like, oh no, like I don't have PTSD from this financial thing that happened to me. Oh no, like, I don't have trauma from how I was, from the things that I witnessed and experienced and how I was conditioned growing up around money or currency or wealth. And the truth is that it's so insidious because it's a part of our everyday lives. So one of the things that, when I'm talking, I used to work in addiction treatment. And so I would often have clients who had dual diagnoses and who had eating disorders. And we would talk about how difficult it is how much more difficult it is to kick an eating disorder than it is to kick a substance use disorder. Because you can decide to stop drinking alcohol or using drugs, and you can change your entire environment, and you can change your friend group, and you can all of a sudden have only friends that don't drink or abuse substances or use substances. But you can't not eat, right? You have to eat to sustain yourself on this planet. So, if you are a person with an eating disorder, it's really, really difficult to not, you just can't. You can't say I'm not eating, or I'm not going to be around people who are eating, or it's a much more difficult thing to be successful at because food is it's a part of our everyday lives, right? Same with money, right? So when we think about healing issues and situations in our lives, we can ultimately move away from an abuser. We can ultimately remove ourselves from a domestic violence situation. We can ultimately, be freed from the grasp of someone who's sexually abusing us. We can't get away from money. Money is still there. Money is still required. Currency is still required to live our day-to-day lives. And this is not me comparing money trauma to an eating disorder or to sexual or physical abuse. Like, that's not what I'm doing here, but I'm just giving you a point of reference because I want you to understand that trauma, financial and money trauma, is a thing. And when you have gone through long periods of scarcity and lack, and when you have been, financial abuse is a thing, when you have had interactions with somebody who has restricted your ability to be safe, stable, and secure financially, or has abused a relationship with money, that's a very real reality. And so then I'll go on further to tell you that the global financial agenda has traumatized all of us at some level. Every single being on this planet has been traumatized by the global financial agenda at some level, because we are absolutely conditioned to respond a certain way to lack and scarcity. And for the majority of the beings on this planet, lack and scarcity is where the global elite desire us to be, because that's what serves the global financial agenda. That's what serves keeping an elite group of people in power and in control of the money and financial resources of this planet, right? The wealth resources, we'll call them. So we're all carrying this stuff, and some of us are carrying it more than others. And so some of us are carrying trauma from the global financial agenda, and some of us are carrying trauma from people closer to us in our lives, a parent, a spouse, a loved one, a significant other, right? So it's really important that we dig deep and we excavate this stuff. So how do I do that? How do we do that? Well, I do it through emotional clearing. and deprogramming. And so I'm going through a major transition right now from using an amazing emotional clearing modality that I'm a facilitator of, that's part of the body of work that includes the spiral, which has served me so well up until this point in my life and has been amazing, and I wouldn't be where I was without it. But I'm moving into a place where I'm transitioning from using that into using my own modality, which is emotional response clearing. And in that modality, there's a much deeper focus on the elements. For the last year, I've been fascinated by just all things related to, I've been just doing a deeper dive into emotional clearing work and how it works and what's important in it. And then over the last several months, I've been doing a deep dive into the elements, into actually how there's an elemental basis to every single thing in life. Everything that exists in the world, there's an elemental basis to. And so I've been working with Michelle Patrick, who many of you know. If you don't follow her here on Facebook, definitely go do that. But we've been working on a new program that we're launching, Immortal, but at the same time been working on developing this emotional clearing modality called emotional response clearing, that is what other emotional clearing is on a surface level, but it's a much deeper dive into the elements, and into what actually happens, right? So instead of just being this sort of like, yeah, you need to clear this emotion, let's clear it. It's like, okay, let's get a deeper understanding so that we actually can excavate it, right? So that we actually can rip it out at the root, and that we don't have leftover emotional fragments or traumas hanging on. So it's, what's the emotion? Yes, but what's actually happening there? What are the issues that it's bringing up for you as a result of having emotional conditioning or having some kind of trauma around this thing, right? How is it manifesting in your life? What are the issues that it's creating? And then how are you being conditioned to respond? How are you responding to external frequencies or external stimuli based upon what this conditioning is doing to you? And then ultimately, like, we're going into the neurological part of it, because when we are emotionally conditioned to respond in a certain way, it causes us ultimately to ask ourselves a question. And that question is, so if you follow Tony Robbins at all, he talks about, so this is something similar. It's like when we're emotionally conditioned, and when we're conditioned and it has to do with an emotion, and then that's causing certain issues in our life, and it's causing us to respond in a certain way. Ultimately, it's leading to us asking ourselves a question. Hey, Shannon, love you too. So it's leading to us asking ourselves a question. That question, so, sample questions would be, if we're in the metal element, and we've got an emotion, like take dogma, for example. Let's just call it dogma. We've got dogma coming up, and then we go in and we're like, okay, so what are the issues? What is this about? Like, what is this dogma? Like, what are the issues it's causing in my life? It's causing me to feel inadequate in the world. Okay, so it's causing me to feel inadequate in the world. What's the response that I'm having to that issue? Like, what's my outward response to that feeling inadequate in the world? Well, it's leading me to be in a state of continual achieving. Like, I'm just going gung-ho all the time. Like, I'm trying to achieve, because ultimately I'm trying to feel adequate in the world. Okay, and all of that together, at the base root of our psyche, what is the question it is causing us to ask ourselves? And that question might be, what do I need to feel complete? And so the more that emotional conditioning is triggered, the more we are feeling inadequate in the world, the more we are in this state of continual achieving, the more we're asking ourselves, what do I need to be complete? What do I need to be complete? And the more that neurotransmitter fires off, the more the myelin around it forms, and the stronger that response becomes in us, right? And so we're in this continual phase of seeking. What do I need to be complete? What do I need to be complete? What do I need to be complete? Which is taking us off of all the ways that we may already feel complete in our life. So this for me this is the cutting edge of money work to me. This is the cutting edge of you fully ultimately being able to step into being wealthy in all areas of your life. It is excavating this stuff deeply within, like taking out the roots, really getting to the bottom of it, really looking at how the elements play a role in that, but looking at the whole body, right? So we're not just releasing trauma from the body, we're releasing trauma from the psyche, we're releasing primary questions from the brain as we're doing this. And then I've been also diving deeply into Chinese meridian systems, which are super fascinating to me. So in this clearing modality, we're actually using the Chinese acupressure points to do the clearing. So the points that we're clearing when we're looking at these issues are the actual meridian points. And so I'm excited because it's the next phase of money work, and this is what I'm bringing into my next round of Ouroboros, which starts on February 20th. And I'm so excited because it's such a deeper level of clearing work than I've ever done. And I've been taking some people through some processes using it, and I've been using it exclusively for my processes with myself, and it has blown the doors off of anything I've done before. So, and mindset and languaging and repatterning your words that you're saying and the spells that you're casting around money, it's all important, right? It is all important. But it's not going to have lasting success if you're not actually figuring out why you're vibrating at the base frequency that you're vibrating at. No amount of superficial mindset work is going to help long term unless, once you've excavated that stuff, absolutely step fully into mindset, watch your languaging, affirm yourself. But it's that idea of this person saying, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, and they can't fully energetically back that they're a millionaire because they're vibrating at a fucking 200 on the scale of consciousness, and that's their base frequency. So I'm excited about moving into this next wave of clearing and this next wave of money work. And, one of the things that I've been realizing more and more, which is a little bit, there's a piece of me that's a little bit sad about this, but the work that I'm moving into, it isn't for everyone. It's not work for the masses. It's not work for people who really just want a secret or a money mindset type fix for their problem. And that's a little bit difficult for me because what it means is that I'm going to be leaving a lot of people behind. That makes me sad, right? But ultimately, I am here to shift the wealth paradigm of the world. I am here to deconstruct the financial slavery consciousness that exists on this planet. And so my time and resources need to be spent with people that are willing to work at this level that I'm talking about, that are willing to go to these depths, that are willing to dive down deep into what is at the root. I'm excited to have my alumni back in round 3 because I get to go to a much deeper level with them. And in going to the deeper level with them, I'm going to be doing advanced clearing that's exclusive to the alumni that already have the amazing foundation. But this next round of people in the program are getting a whole new set of tools that the people in round 1 and 2 didn't have because I simply hadn't fully developed them. So I'm so excited about this round of Ouroboros. This is also the last round of Ouroboros that you'll be able to work one-on-one with me. And so if that's something that you've been wanting to do when it comes to money work, now is the time to sign up, because in the next round of Ouroboros and the rounds after that, my apprentices, because I have 2 amazing Ouroboros apprentices, or Wealth Alchemy apprentices, really, they're going to be doing all of my Wealth Alchemy work, will be doing all of the individual clears in the next rounds of Ouroboros. So if you've wanted to work with me one-on-one, if you know you're ready to shift your wealth paradigm, and if you're ready to dig deep, Ouroboros is not for everyone. It can be extremely brutal. It's a hard process. It is completely deconstructive in nature. It is literally about ripping out the rotting foundation, and that's not easy, and not everybody wants to do that. So it's really work that you have to be ready to do. And, you know, the more I step into this work, the more I realize, like, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody because it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for people that want to love and light their way to wealth and prosperity. It's for people that are really ready to look in the dark, that are ready to look in the shadows, that are ready to excavate the shit that, like, they really haven't wanted to look at or face ever. Because it is through facing the darkness that we are ultimately able to see the brightest lights. And so that's it. That's really all I have. I wanted to get on and talk a little bit about that today. Because it is time to get off the struggle bus. It is time to, like, shift the wealth paradigm. It is vitally important that as many of us as possible take back our financial destinies now, because we are going to be seeing a huge shift in the financial structures on this planet over the next several months, and definitely over this decade. By the time 2030 rolls around, I don't believe that anything that exists in our financial systems and structures right now will be the same. I believe that everything is changing over this next decade. So I encourage you to, if you know it's time to start looking at this stuff, and if you're just ready for a shift, if you're fucking sick of riding the struggle bus or ending up back in the struggle, you know, whether you've had a $10,000 month or $20,000 month or $30,000 month or $50,000 month, if you're tired of continuing to, like, be on the fucking roller coaster that occurs when you don't actually get to the bottom of why you're vibrating at a base level at such a low frequency, come join me in Ouroboros. Get ready to do probably the hardest fucking work you've ever done in your life, because I can promise you that I am bringing it this round. Anyway, we start on the 20th. I'm already dropping content into the group, so it's there and ready to be watched now. There's already stuff in there. And yeah, I'm just excited. One-on-one clearing and complete and total wealth repatterning with me. So have an amazing day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world as you're watching this live stream or you're watching the replay. And remember, it is your divine birthright to be wealthy. And for those of you that are new to me or haven't heard me say this 1 million times, the word wealthy actually comes from two words, well and healthy. So it is literally your divine birthright to be wealthy in all areas of your life. So I love you all. Have an amazing. I've already been transformed from the content you've dropped. So she's already been transformed from the content I've already dropped, and we haven't even started the program. So there's somebody that signed up for round 3 right there. That's her testimonial right in the comment section. All right, have a blessed and beautiful, wealthy day. Mwah. Love you guys.